Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala ashabihi rasulillahi ajma'in amma ba'. First, let me introduce myself. My name is M Ridho Al Hafiz and my supervisor is Mem Nurdiana SPD. Here, I want to present my research proposal entitled The Correlation Between Students' Interest in Game Activities and Their Vocabulary Mastery at 4th Semester of English Education Department of Winsus Karyao. Okay, we come to the first point, background of the problem. Vocabulary takes a big role in language learning, especially in English. There will be some difficulties happens because of the lack in vocabulary. Penny 1991 stated that vocabulary is the words that we teach in learning a language. So it is clear that every words that we use in a language is called vocabulary. If the students doesn't master the vocabulary, there are some difficulties happens in their language. The student will be hard to speak, to write, to listen, and to speak in a language. In this case, in English. So, based on the statement, the researcher concluded that vocabulary is very important in language learning. This statement is in line with Cameron 2001, who stated that vocabulary as one of the knowledge areas in language plays a great role for learners in acquiring a language. In Indonesia, English is not the mother tongue and is not the second language. It is a foreign language. The situation made the students will be harder to learn English. So they have to improve their English and improve their vocabulary to improve their English. But learning a vocabulary, teach the vocabulary is hard to do because vocabulary learning is a memorized activities, and memorized activities is a boring activities. When the teacher teach the vocabulary, the students will be easier to get bored because it is a memorized activities. In this case, the teacher have to find a great way to teach the vocabulary to gain the student's attention. And using the student interest is one of best way to make the student interesting in learning vocabulary. Silvercroft and Wintler 1992 found that individual interest was correlated with both academic and laboratory performance. From many kinds of activities that interested, game is one of it. Wright, Butterbite, and Bugbee 1997 say that games improve many practice skills. Games also provide intense and meaningful practice of language and of language. From the explanation, the researcher want to do a research about that phenomena, that event. The researcher take the correlation between students' interest in game activities and their vocabulary mastery at 4th semester English Education Department of Winsus Karyao as the title of the research. Next, the problem of the research. First, the limitation of the problem. To make the research more focused, the researcher limit the problem into correlation between student interest in game activities and their vocabulary mastery, and limit it for 4th semester of English Education Department of Winsus Karyao. Next, the formation of a problem. So the researcher built a formulation of a problem to know what is the purpose, what is the findings of the research. First, how is reading interest at 4th semester of English Education Department of Winsus Karyao? The second, how is vocabulary mastery at 4th semester of English Education Department of Winsus Karyao? Third, is there any significant correlation between students' interest in game activities and their vocabulary mastery at fourth semester of English Education Department of Universitas Karya? Next, we come to the operational concept. The researcher uses the quantitative approach with correlation method in this research. According to Airy, 2006, stated correlational research gathered the data from individuals on two or more variables and then seeks to determine if the variables are related or correlated. Since the title of this research is the correlation between the student interest in game activities and their vocabulary mastery, so there are two variables in this research. And the purpose of this research is to know the relation between those variables. So that's why the researcher used the quantitative approach with the correlation method in this research. Next, method of the research. Research design in this research is quantitative approach with correlation method, as the researcher said before, and the time will be at March 2020 and 2021. And location is English Education Department of Islamic State University of Riau. The subject will be the fourth semester students of English Education Department of Islamic State University of Riau. And then the object is the correlation between student interest in game activities and their vocabulary mastery. For the population and sample of this research, the researcher take the fourth semester students as a population, the whole of the students of the third semester students of English Education Department of Universitas Karya, which is consists of 111 students with 4 classes, and each classes consists of 28 and 27 students. To determine the sample size, the researcher take the explanation from Eric Kunto that state that if the total population is more than 100, it is better to take 25% or more. Since the population in the research is 111 students, so the researcher take 20% to be the sample. Here is the table of the sample size. So the researcher take 25% each class. So the sample of each class will be 7 and the total is 28%. Next, technique of data collection. In this research, the researcher used 2 instruments. They are questionnaire and administering tests. Based on the Arikunto 2010, questionnaire was a set of written questions which was used to get the information from the respondent about his or her personality or something they had known. And test also based on Arikunto 2010, test is the number of questions or exercise or the tool to measure one's skill, intelligence, ability, or talent. For the questionnaire, the question will be write in Bahasa, and the question will consist of 25 questions in form of multiple choice, and all questions will represent their interest in game, the students' interest in game activities. And for the test will be multiple choice that will conduct based on the vocabulary mastery indicators. For the indicators, for the variable X, the student interest in game activity, then the indicator is taken from Slamito 2003. There are 6 indicators. There are attention, the willingness, needs, feeling happy or joyful feelings, teaching materials and teachers' good attitudes, and the last is participation. For the vocabulary mastery, based on UR 1996, the indicators of vocabulary mastery are: first, students are expected to be able to know about part of speech, such as noun, verb, and adjective in the text. Second, students are expected to be able to use word grammatically in the text. And the third is students are expected to be able to find the synonym and antonym from the text. And the last is students are expected to be able to use appropriate choice of words. And the technique of the data analysis is because the purpose of this research is to measure the correlation between students' interest in game activities and vocabulary mastery. So the researcher used the statistic method. Therefore, the researcher used correlative research to analyze the data. The researcher will use the pattern of Spearman correlation coefficient. The pattern can be seen in the PowerPoint. So that's all of my presentation. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.